Hey, we're back, and it's been a long time. How's it going, Taylor Ann?
It's going good.
Well, we thought that we'd give you a nice little update of how things have been going since we just moved to Kansas City, Missouri. And this is really just for people who know us. It's not like we think we have fans or anything, but we do intend to continue putting out content as far as different biblical conversations or um, I don't know, whatever comes our way, we want to use the equipment we have to preach the gospel. And we have somehow obtained a lot of equipment for this, for podcasts and videos. And so we just thought we'd use it. And if you asked us how much we've spent on equipment for podcasts and videos, we would say zero. But we've probably gotten like a lot worth of equipment just through God's provision and through his providence. And so, yeah, we just want to use it to the best of our ability. How have you been, Taylor Ann, my wife, who I know how you've been? Uma?
I've been great.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. That's great. Do you want to kind of sum up these past 6 months for the guys and women out there?
Marriage is the best and the hardest thing. And we worked a lot in California and we saved a lot. And yeah, and then we moved out here and we're just settling in. We've only been here for about 4 or 5 days. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's just God's constant blessing on our lives and we can see it every day.
Yeah, and we are so grateful. So we were unable to kind of keep everyone in the loop as far as the people that watch our the one or two videos we have up and the one or two, three, well, it's 3 videos and 3 podcasts that we put out. Sorry, but we were working so hard to just get out of California and find a place here in Kansas City, and it was through a lot of difficulty and a lot of trusting God and a lot of blessings. Um, it's not necessarily everything we did was ideal, but everything we were able to do was so beneficial, and our plan worked out. Um, well, our plan didn't work
Yep.
out. Yeah, that's what we learned. Our plans never work out. Um, I was gonna go to Moody, um, and I'll be honest, I didn't really want to go to Moody. It was more like a this is feasible financially kind of thing. And not that I don't like the school necessarily. I don't know. But I wanted to go to Midwestern Theological Seminary. That is where like my desire was. And so 2 weeks before I was able to go to Moody um, Bible School in Chicago, they sold the marital housing, and we were betting everything on that. We were like, okay, 2 more months of working, and we're out of here. Isn't that right? Yeah. And so how did that make you feel, Taylor?
Well, I have never seen a door slam shut so obviously. But as they say, where the Lord closes a door, he opens a window, and it was, it just worked out perfectly with Noah wanting to go to Midwestern. And so we came here and are settling in and are getting comfortable with Missouri life and loving it and getting ready for him to start in the fall.
Yeah. And that's just another thing that we have to slap God willing at the end of the way things are looking in this world. We have no idea what to expect or what's coming. But we know that we can trust God and that He doesn't live to make our plans and purposes come to pass, but He lives to make His. And He always will. But it will always be for the good of those who love Him. And so Um, I think you can agree that there were times in uh this past 6 months that we felt like we wanted to say what are you doing, God? Like, we were working so hard for this to happen. Like, we deserve it. We earned it. Like, this is what we wanted to do. And, at the end of the day, we were just humbled and always had to submit to God because, you know, we could have just lived as Debbie Downers who were like, God isn't faithful and he doesn't want what we want. And it's like, no. Eventually we were just like, God wants what's best. And we can't say what that is. We can only try and hope and pray, do our best, and be thankful for wherever He takes us. And I speak for both of us when I say we are so thankful that we made it to Kansas City. This has just been restful, even though it's a trip, even though it's moving a lot of our stuff. We finally have a decent amount of privacy, and yeah, Taylor Ann, you speak on the subject.
Well, it feels like home, I think, whether we're driving down the streets or going to the grocery store or just sitting in our actual home, it all feels like home. And it's something we've been missing for the last 6 months. We haven't really had a place that is our own. We've been, again, so blessed um, with where we were staying and just the support of people that God put in our lives. But it's still that little missing link of having something that's just ours. And so it's just so nice to have our own space. And it's a studio apartment and
Hmm.
it's small, but we're so content.
Yeah, it's just what we were cut out for right now. we we started in a bedroom, and then we were in another bedroom, and then we were in another bedroom, and all of which were blessings. They brought us to be so grateful for where we are, and but we were always grateful where we were. Um, well, not in a boasting way. We had trouble. we like there were times where we were like, I just want to live alone and have privacy, blah blah. Um, in our weakness, we had some trouble, but overall, we're thankful, and this just feels amazing.
Yeah, it just feels like the theme of our past 6 months is just God really teaching us um, to be content and to be humble, especially with what you were talking about with the God willing at the end of everything. That's just something we learned as being the most humble place that you can be. And it's the hardest place to be because sometimes God's will is not what you want. And
Most of the time.
most of the time, it's not what you want, but it is for your good. It's for the good of those who love Him. And because we love Him, we will walk in humility.
Yeah, and just a tip to anybody who decides to get married during a pandemic. This should be your mindset from the beginning. Everything can change. Who knows what's going to happen? No one foresaw this pandemic. Uh Shout out to all the false prophets, and like no one knows what's going to happen in God's universe except for that, you know, he'll sustain it as long as he desires to, and he will be faithful to his promises. And yeah, so keep that in mind. Uh, God will sometimes wreck your dreams, and it's always for the best.
Mhm.
I've never been too salty about it. Um, I'm just,
After you've adjusted to it.
yeah,
At first, it's sometimes painful, or
yeah, yeah. You
it.
get knocked down like 3 or 4 times,
Mhm.
and then you're just kind of like, I'm kind of done like planning on my plans being fulfilled. Like,
Mhm.
but you're not just like bummed out. Like I said, you're not a Deborah Downer. You're just I trust God. And look at the world today. I mean, you should be able to turn on the news, which most of them you shouldn't even watch, but yep. You should be able to turn on the news and be like, okay, I have no idea what's happening. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I don't know what's going to happen the next day. I need to trust God because this is not in my control. I'm sure there are many of us, I'm saying us because me, who are like, I'm going to start college next year. I'm going to get this job. Well, I got married, so like I'm still lucky. But and then COVID hit, and you're like, oh, this has never happened in my lifetime, except for H1N1, and I don't even remember if we did anything about that. I think I was in a gym and they talked about it, and I was like in elementary school or middle school, and I was like, the swine flu, like what?
But it just goes back to, is it James? Where
It,
it says, you
um,
know,
the God willing thing.
yeah.
Yeah, I
Where,
don't know where that is, but it's in James.
oh, I think it's James 2.
Yeah,
But it's, people plan, people say, we will go to this town or that town, but if you're not really surrendering yourself to the will of God, you
yeah,
might get knocked down a little bit,
yeah.
but it's good.
All of this being said, to say, I mean, anything that we tell you we're about to do or we're planning to do, don't like quote us on it when it doesn't happen, because we probably didn't expect that either.
Ask both of our parents.
Yeah. um, like we're trying our best to be faithful and follow through with everything that we tell people we desire to do. Um,
But at the end of the day, they're just desires, and God will have his way because he is sovereign over everything.
mhm.
Um, so I think it's also helped us to not be prideful in our plans. They are just plans, and they could change in an instant, and this life is a breath. And so, yeah, we continue to make plans, we continue to prepare, but if they change,
Yeah.
that's how life is. That's how it works.
Okay. Well, to wrap up this quick conversation, we would just like to say, our broad goal here in Kansas City is to find a way to settle down, God willing, to um, cultivate a community through evangelism or Bible studies, and to uh, walk with disciples and make disciples of Christ. Um, and we just want to live our lives here. We want to do ministry here, and we want to um, like everything that I just said. Just repeat it because I didn't have a third thing to say. Um,
Glorify God.
yeah, we just want to
That's a
glorify
good
God.
one.
We're not here to ask for any money or support. If you guys could just pray for us while we try to live out this ministry, as we try to navigate through um, God's will in our lives, and um, as we strive for holiness as a family, um, we would be so grateful if you guys would just keep us in your prayers. Uh, Reach out if you want to. And if you're in Kansas City, so are we. But you got that. Yeah, you got that part. Uh, yeah. Well, is there anything else you want to add?
Nope.
All right, goodbye.